and I thank you both for your testimony.
Thank you.
Gentleman yields back. Now recognize the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Scott, for his time of questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to commend the President of the United States for sinking another Panga and stopping those drugs from getting to the United States of America. We lose a lot of Americans to drug overdoses every day, and I hope that they will continue to sink the drug boats. Mr. Higgins, we've already talked about the, pursuit that is just part of police work. Is that a correct statement? If you're not going to pursue the criminal is going to get away just by definition every day? Yes, sir. Are they just going to quit because we say, pretty please don't do that again?
Yes, sir. The police officer has to be able to make that decision very quickly on the street. And just like we have to make every enforcement decision. And pursuit is not something that we take lightly. But you're absolutely responsible for everything you do when you're in that unit and wearing that uniform. And pursuit is something that we train very, very heavily on, and it's usually in a crowded environment. Those are the people you're protecting from whoever's running.
I want to get to this definition of youth offender that seems to be such a problem for the Democrat Party. This bill reduces the maximum age of a youth offender from 24 years in Washington, D.C. to 18 years. My understanding is that in 44 states, the maximum age for a youth offender is 17. When you hit your 18th birthday, you're no longer a youth offender. That's 44 states. 5 states, including your state and my state, that's limited to 16, and 1 state is 19, and that would be Vermont. Is that correct?
If you're asking me, sir, the definition of an adult is varying from at what age bracket a juvenile could be tried as an adult. So in the 2 topics, yes, sir, most states recognize adults as over 17. DC has a different approach. They have a bracket up to 24, and we address that. I think that's a big error and would lead to an increase in juvenile crimes, which indeed you have seen.
All right. Mr. Garcia, what is the maximum age in the state of California?
I believe it's 18, sir.
I think when you hit 18, you're no longer considered a youth, as in 44 of the 50 states. 5 states are at 16, 1 state's at 19, and in Washington, D.C. is at 24, correct?
Correct.
That's not correct?
Under the I mean, under the youth, the YRA that we're discussing right now, there's alternatives, but adults, this of course only provision applies only in adult court, so this is not in juvenile court. So there actually is a difference between the 2 types of courts. This goes strictly to under the YRA Act that was passed by the council. This essentially eliminates the judicial discretion to impose sentences below those mandatory minimums.
I can understand how states have some disagreements, 16, 17, 18, 19. But there is no way that a 24-year-old in any circumstances should be considered a youth, especially in the criminal justice system. I'm going to leave it at that. I hope these bills pass. I again want to commend the President for sinking another Panga filled with drugs that were coming to the United States to kill our citizens, our families, and I hope that they will continue to take action to stop the drugs from coming to the shores of the United States of America. With that, Madam Chair, I yield.